Welcome back to Terror Takeover, your one-stop shop for all things creepy, disgusting, and horrifying. I'm your host, Crow.
And I'm Zoe.
Oh my god, I pointed in the wrong direction. I'm like we have I think it's gonna be kind of a mini-sode today, but who knows? We always say that and then it ends up being longer than we expect. But I'm gonna be doing some traveling on the day that we normally record. So we decided to record a little early, and Zoe has picked out some super interesting short stories for us to read today, and I'm excited.
Shit, yeah.
Horror news, I don't have like a whole lot. I just saw something that I thought you would love to hear. And I have this article in front of me. Apparently, Diablo Cody has recently said that she is not done with Jennifer's Body, the Jennifer's Body universe, and that
What?
she would be interested in making a sequel.
No
Who knows?
fucking
I know,
way.
right? Well, the whole thing is she was saying that when the first one came out, it was just did really badly. Like everybody knows that it was a flop just because, long story short, they marketed it to the wrong people, and now that the right people have seen it, more people are like into it, and she's like, I guess, putting the feelers out for it. She's announced that she's into it, so I think that's really exciting.
Shit, yeah. Fucking I've kind of always wanted like a sequel. I don't know. I feel like it could keep going somewhere. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
like the other day I was thinking about I was like, man, like House of Wax, but I'm trying to adapt how they would keep going with that one. It was just such a like gem within itself, you know?
Yeah. It'd have to be the kind of thing where it's like just a completely new cast of characters and stuff, but I would love to see that. Honestly, I want to rewatch that movie. We should do an episode on it. That movie is just so creepy.
I think we should. Fucking
Yeah.
Oh my god, I said it again. Anyways, don't look
It's
at my hand.
okay.
Okay. I'm trying to hide my hands right now because I look like that one episode in Creepshow where they're going to like the Blob Lake. That's what my hands feel like right now.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways,
that's
backstory.
like one of my favorite or one of my favorite
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean, parts of Creepshow. It's
I
so
dyed
creepy.
Crow's hair today, so
You did a really good job. It's super
fun.
even.
I know.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at
And
that.
I actually
everyone.
washed it out pretty good. Everybody's like, "What's the difference?" Like, girl, no, but my roots are like brown, so like you wouldn't be able to tell like just from camera, but in person you can tell. And obviously, I'm about to do a trip, and when you do a trip, you got to get your hair did, you know. So
you gotta get
Zoe
the hair
was kind
right
enough to help me out. I really appreciate that. It's hard to do your own because you can't really see the back and stuff. It's just awkward and
I know, and it's just aggravating altogether.
yeah, it's really annoying because you're like, okay, now I need to put some more on the left side here, and then you're like, why is my arm going the opposite direction? Oh yeah, we're looking in a mirror. It's horrible. I hate it. I hate having to do it.
Like I just
Worst
tell
thing
you, back
ever.
in the day, I just took that shit and I went
Yep.
and just
Like ketchup.
like
Period. Scrub that bitch in like shampoo.
oh my gosh.
Charlotte's not with us today because
No.
she just needs the night off. And she is going to be driving up to, she was originally supposed to drive up tonight, but she decided to drive up tomorrow, and she said, y'all just go ahead and do your thing. And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, and I hope that you told her about being careful out there because you were so right. I was at this like one traffic light and it was my turn to go. It was my turn. Okay. And he was just going, and I had to like slam on my brakes, and I was like, what is going on? And then I looked and I was like, oh, it's a full moon. It's full moon.
Okay. I was about to say it must be a full moon or something because it's crazy. And then also I was telling you this, but on my way to go get the hair dye, there was a 3-car pileup on like an area that's not even like, it's not that busy or crazy. So I was like, how the hell did this happen? I guess like probably what happened is the person in the front wanted to like make a left into like a business or something, and then the other two people behind him were probably not paying attention and following too close, or B, who knows. So anyway, it just looked bad. Nobody got hurt or anything. It wasn't like that bad, but it was just like, this didn't need to happen. It was crazy. So
thank fucking God.
Careful out there, guys. Keep your eyeballs open and don't text and drive.
I'm saying, I will say, excuse me, I'm very excited for this episode. I love telling stories for some reason.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I don't know.
You have a good
I like
voice
having
for
my
it.
little Vincent Price moment. I'm like,
you have a good voice for it. I feel like the last time you read it, we were like, "Ooh, she's killing this shit." Me, I have like such a weird voice.
Yeah. I know whenever they pointed me out in class and they're like, all right, it's your turn to read a paragraph. I'm like, don't mind if I do.
Yes, bitch, you made it your moment. It's your
Oh,
moment.
shit.
Have it. I love it. I love that.
Oh, but you did tell us like you were on Reddit like all the time, right?
I do spend a lot of time on Reddit, yeah.
Ooh,
Mhm.
I'm thinking about delving into it because it's like I don't know, and then
Yeah.
I see the comments and like people they're like continuing the story or
Yes,
they're
and the
just like
nosleep
asking questions
subreddit.
like why didn't you just open the door? Why didn't you just lock the door?
Yes.
Like I love that. Love that.
Yeah, it just like it gives it like another level of like I don't know, I guess like realism to it. Like I think it just like makes it more
Mhm.
interesting. Like sometimes the comments are just as good as the story.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah, I think you should. I could see like being like a Reddit person and like Reddit, I don't know, there's like something, I feel like there's something on Reddit for like everybody. Like even if you don't
Mhm.
like the like am I the asshole like forums, which are honestly some of the best ones, but
Mhm.
where I don't know, have you heard of that one or no?
Um, I've actually seen some stuff on like TikTok, which I
Right.
am so guilty on being on TikTok like all hours of the day.
Me
But
too.
I have like seen like little Reddit posts where people just like ask like what's the most like inspiring thing you've ever heard or like what are some crazy
Yeah.
facts I love reading stuff like that.
Yeah. With the like Minecraft in the background.
Mhm.
I love those too. Or like the ones that are like, what's a scary fact that you know to be 100% true or something. I'm like, oh my. And I always see those at like
Uh,
2 a.m., just like the worst time to be seeing them.
so everyone, in this episode, we have decided to do just something like cool and like just very mellow and relaxed because like just
Mhm.
recently we love doing all of our episodes, especially all together. But sometimes we just have like to have a little lazy moment. And we do love telling the short stories, and I'm sure you guys love hearing them just as much. So we are actually going to be telling Reddit's most bone chilling short stories, stuff that kind of ranked the best stories according to Reddit in 2023. So let's get started. I think Crow's going first. I picked this one out just for her because she's a little
What's
gamer
up?
girl.
Okay, let's get into this. Let me get cozy. I'm like, "Grr." I should have got me a blanket and a hot cocoa.
Hell yeah.
So this one is by The Eagle Strikes. This one is called Don't Play the Can You Hide game if it appears on your phone. And it's got almost 7,000 upvotes. Oh my God, I bet it's probably pretty good. I didn't read it yet. It goes, you won't find it on Google Play or the App Store. There's nothing about the game on any public websites other than this cautionary post. It doesn't matter whether you're a good or bad person, it indiscriminately chooses targets. The point is that you can't avoid the game. Nobody can. You might hear a reverberating ding from your phone, a death toll from the depths of hell. An incongruous window might pop up. Can you hide? Yes or no? Make sure you select no. When the window first appeared on my phone screen, I was stunned. I always presume smartphones to be safer from the threat of viruses than computers, especially a brand new iPhone. Isn't Apple supposed to be superior to Microsoft when it comes to security? Nice try, I said. But before I made a rash decision and ended up infecting my phone with something nasty, I decided to do some research. I'm not exactly computer savvy, but I didn't trust either the yes or no option. I didn't want to mess with the window in any way. There was nothing about the Can You Hide pop up online. I didn't even realize it was a game until a Reddit user who I won't name pointed me in the direction of a Discord server for discussing unearthly matters. There was an entire category dedicated to the bizarre new game that had been appearing on people's phones. Clicking yes, apparently, commences a hide and seek game of unknown origin. I scrolled through the many Discord messages. I've removed the usernames. User 1. Can anyone help me? No one seems to know anything about this game. My friend played it nonstop for a week and then he went missing. That was 2 weeks ago. There are daily search parties, but I don't think they're going to find him. He said it wasn't really a game. He said he saw a face outside his window. User 2. You have to select no. User 3. I destroyed my phone after reading these messages. Haven't seen or heard anything unusual. User 4. I selected no, but I keep hearing creaks and I don't think it's in my head. User 6. Just leave the pop up window open, guys. You don't have to select anything. User 5. For what? For the rest of my life? What if something accidentally knocks it? User 3. Destroy your phone. Like I said, it worked for me. User 6, until it pops up on your next phone. User 5, what if I just turn off my phone? That seems a little less dramatic than destroying it. User 3, your funeral. The more I read, sorry, the more anxious I felt. I had expected the pop up window to be a virus, but everybody was telling ghost stories. Stop being a superstitious baby, I told myself. That guy's disappearance had nothing to do with the game he was playing. Eventually, after a weekend of horrified contemplation, I opted for user five's idea to turn off my phone. In fact, took it a step further to reset my phone to its factory settings. I met my friends Corey and Tanya in a local park on Monday afternoon. I planned to tell them about my experience, but they beat me to the punch. Why didn't you pick up your phone all weekend, Lee? Corey asked me. We were worried about you, man. We wanted to hang out on Sunday. I didn't fancy third wheeling. Some of us have to go to work on Mondays, I replied. Hey, I work, Corey protested. From a bathrobe in your bedroom, Tanya smirked. You're both just envious that I can scroll through Reddit and play games away from the watchful eye of my employer. Oh my
Yeah.
God, Corey. Corey said. Speaking of games, Lee, have you played Can You Hide? My heart plummeted, and I felt as if Corey's words were cinder blocks dragging my body through the floorboards. He's obsessed, Tanya sighed. He's been playing it every day since Tuesday. Girl, it just popped up on my phone, so I thought, why the fuck not? Corey laughed. Tanya thought it must be a virus, but it's just a cool augmented reality game. Corey thrust his phone down on the wooden picnic table. It was already open on a game window, a map of our surrounding area. A small green marker indicated Corey's location in the park, and there was a small red marker moving along nearby roads. Once a day, from 2 to 4 in the afternoon, the game takes place. I have to hide. It tracks my location in the real world, so I have to keep moving. I wanted to delay coming to the park, but I don't think the Red Seeker will find me here. Besides, it's 10 to 4 and nearly made it, Corey said. What's the red marker that's searching for you? I asked, shuddering. The boogeyman, Corey whispered. He laughed, and Tanya thumped him on the arm. You know that kind of talk makes Lee freak out, Tanya scolded. Oop. Corey shrugged, and the pair of them became absorbed in a different topic of conversation. They were tucking into their sandwiches, talking between mouthfuls, but I wasn't eating. I couldn't take my eyes off Corey's phone on the table. The red marker was circling the park, looking for him. I couldn't stop thinking about those people on the Discord server who had spoken so solemnly of the supposedly deadly game. Suddenly, the marker was in the park. Corey was wrong. It had found him. I prepared for something dreadful to happen. I prepared for my friend to be caught. And that's a wrap, Corey said, scooping up his phone. 4 o'clock. Yet again, I bested the game. It got close this time, though. Damn, just 100 yards away. On the game map, the park was a featureless green patch. I could see Corey's green marker scarcely standing out from the grass, and I could see the red marker northeast of our location. The victory box read, You avoided the creeker by 121 yards. You can hide. Tanya groaned and mumbled about Corey's game addiction, and the two of them resumed their conversation. I was about to dive back into reality, putting the silly game out of my head for good, but a sudden noise terrified me. A creak. My eyes shot up from the table. Neither Tanya nor Corey seemed to notice the eerie noise. And I can't explain it. As nearby as the sound seemed, my eyes were drawn to a solitary tree a little over 100 yards away. Perhaps not exactly where the red marker had appeared on Corey's screen, but close enough. Peering around the bark was a frightful face. The thing looking at the three of us was not human. It was as short as a toddler. Its head, just yeet that little bitch.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Its head, if it even had a head, was wearing a peach-colored rubber mask, almost the tone of human flesh, but not quite. And its sickly sweet smile seared through my eyes into my very soul. With a second resounding creak, the nightmarish face snapped behind the bark, disappearing from view. Earth to Lee, Tanya said, giggling. You look like you've seen a ghost. I think somebody's actually seeking you, Corey, I whispered, pointing a shaky finger at the tree. I don't think you should play that game anymore. Your phasmophobia really kills my buzz sometimes, Lee, Corey sighed. There's no boogeyman following me. I have a proclivity for trembling at everyday sights and sounds. In my mind, there's always a ghost or a ghoul around the corner. Ever since my parents died, I've been that way. But I knew without a shadow of a doubt that I hadn't imagined what I saw behind the tree. Unfortunately, my phasmophobia, fear of ghosts and the supernatural, makes it very difficult for anybody to believe me when I've been startled by something. Corey and Tanya told me to take it easy and get lots of rest. The following day, the two of them pinged me incessantly on WhatsApp. I was still reeling from the terrifying thing I'd seen behind the tree. Transfixed by terrible thoughts, the workday flew by. I was starting to believe that maybe I'd become unwell. Perhaps I'd suffered a psychotic break. Not so. Around 5:30 in the evening, on my drive home from work, Tanya called me. I answered via my car's dashboard. I'm driving right now, Tanya. I said, What's? I trailed off when I heard my friend bawling her eyes out on the other end of the phone. It's in the house, she whispered. The game started playing. It's later than usual. Slow down, I replied. What's happening? The game started at 6, Tanya tearfully explained in a fragile whisper. I think you were right, Lee. I think someone's actually seeking us. We saw a horrible face at the window, and then there were creaking sounds in the house. We're hiding in the attic. Corey's pulled the door up, so we don't think. Have you called the police? I interjected, heart pounding. They're on the way, Tanya said. 15 minutes. If we can. What? It's Lee. No, I feel safer with someone on the other end of the. Okay, Corey wants me to hang up. He wants us to be quiet. Okay, I understand, I shakily replied. Just make sure. No, 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 Tanya whimpered. I didn't need to ask what had frightened her. I heard it too, a creak in the attic. It sounded so clear and, once again, so near. So nightmarishly near that I snapped my neck around to make sure the rubber-faced demon wasn't in the backseat of my car. It wasn't.
Rubber-faced demon.
Rubber-faced demon? At that point, I decided not to go home. I diverted to Corey's house, an 8-minute journey, barely any quicker than the police. How did it even get in here? Tanya whispered. I didn't even see the door open. It's not an it, Corey scoffed.
That little fucker went through the doggy door.
I love how he crawled through that bit. He's just a child, and he needs to leave our. Oh, just a child. Why are y'all in the attic then? What the fuck is that? Tanya screamed. Please, Corey began to plead. The screams of my two friends were deafening. I was so fixated on reaching the house that I didn't hang up the call. It was only as I tore into Corey's driveway, mere minutes before the police, that I realized I'd been listening to sounds of squelching, snapping, and most hauntingly of all, creaking. I barged down the front door and ran up to the attic. I expected to find a sickening scene of mutilation, but the space was empty. Corey and Tanya were gone. The police had questions for me, of course, but my alibi was airtight. The 999 call was made before I even left the office, and traffic camera footage corroborated the fact that I was on the road whilst the intruder terrorized Corey and Tanya. Missing persons, that's the verdict. I don't understand what the game wants. I don't know where the missing people go. All I know is that resetting my phone wasn't enough. On my drive home, after a long night of tears and police questioning, I could swear I caught a glimpse of a peach-colored mask peeking around a postbox. And then, as if to confirm that menacing thought, there was a notification on my phone. The unmistakable ding of hell. The message displayed on my car dashboard. Can you hide? Yes. No. I moaned in horror, and that was what damned me. My car uses voice recognition, and it somehow registered my terrified vocal reaction as an answer. You selected no. Perhaps I've chosen the safer of the two options. I know many of the Discord users suggested no, but I can't stop thinking about what I read on that server. I selected no, but I keep hearing creaks. I haven't heard anything yet, and the game hasn't started playing, but Corey didn't seem to hear the creak when he was playing the game. Maybe, like him, I've just been missing it. I'm terrified of the creaker. I'm terrified of where he might take me. What's this little X?
I know, that's what I was looking at.
Let me see. There's like a file.
What is that?
Oh, it just takes him to his. It just takes it to his like,
nice
personal Reddit.
There you go.
A little self.
Damn. I will say though, I don't think that was like entirely like horrifying.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I were in that predicament, I'd be like,
yeah, it's creepy for sure.
It definitely does sound like a lot of movies that like I've seen and me and you have seen, like that one movie Unfriended. Yeah. It was kind of giving me those vibes.
Yeah. Or like One Missed Call or something.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I want to see these comments here. Someone says no has got to be the worst option. It's asking, can you hide? Not, do you want to play hide and seek? I fear if you answer no, it accepts that as surrender. Definitely destroy the phone. And then it says maybe it only wants people who think they can hide, so it can have fun seeking out those who think they can outsmart it.
Oh. Some of these people are like really, really creative with it. They're like, wait, what did he say? Okay, let's think about this. Small toddler looking guy doesn't appear to have any special movement abilities.
That fucker.
So they're like, they're thinking of like proposed ideas. They're like, okay, get a job on a cruise ship or an airplane, be a truck driver so you're constantly moving so he won't be able to get in your car.
Right.
Just like this is
That's pretty
so
sick.
like fucking rad. Like I really like all this stuff.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
blah 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 blah. Yeah, everybody's like, "Well, I'm not sure what the question exactly. What does he mean by that?" Like, girl, people are dying in this story anyway.
I don't know.
Um,
What did you all think about that one? Did you think it was I don't know. I'm still trying to like process it because I'm trying to think what
yeah,
would I do if I was in that situation?
right. I don't know what I would do. I'd probably just like I mean, I'm not look, this phone was expensive. I'm not destroying shit. I'm so
No.
sorry. I'll fight that little demon. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm fighting or like I would probably mm, I don't know. That's kind of sucks. That's like complicated. I probably just wouldn't do anything. Like I'd probably just turn it off. Like that's what I would have done even like if it
Mm-hmm.
didn't work like I wouldn't have known that, you know.
I'm trying to think who the fuck started this game? Like where the fuck? Like it's just like a
Yeah.
rando.
I don't know. I think it's supposed to be like some like supernatural
I see.
like a
I see. I see.
ghost, you know.
Mm-hmm.
God damn, my hair is crazy today. Oof. Well, that
That
was
shit was
fun. I
good.
like that one. Yeah. I love
That
like a
one was
little
fun.
like a phone thing or like a social media thing. I think that's like a
Mm-hmm.
really fun concept for like a scary story, for a short story.
I'll give that. I'll give that one a good 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah. I'll give it a good if it rounded out the whole story,
Mm.
I would give it an 8. But because I wanted more,
Yeah.
I would give it like probably like a 6 or a 7, but I enjoyed it.
Hey, the Eagle Strikes Part 2. Part 2.
Let's get some backstory.
For
Period.
sure. So this one is there are two versions of my childhood tapes, and this is
Ooh.
by Like You Did. Like You Did. I like what they did there. Um Okay, so apparently this one it looks like it's a series. Like there's part
Oh.
1, part 2, which is pretty interesting.
Hmm.
Okay. So, I was born right in the middle of the 90s, 2 years after my brother. All of the memories of our childhood were kept on VHS tapes. Very classic. Um, Tapes that we hadn't watched in almost 2 decades because, well, who owns a who owns a VHS player?
No, you're right though, because who puts VHS player? It's a VCR. That's how you know this was
Yeah,
a
wait. Okay, you saw I was about to say
I did yeah, you were
VCR.
fully
I'm like,
prepared. Yeah.
um, okay. So apparently
Anyway.
they've never had a VCR player before.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. Well, who still owns a VHS player? My brother Luke would soon turn 30, and I thought it would be a neat present to digitize of all of our old videos. My mom kept them inside a box in our basement labeled 1993, 1999 A tapes. I had no idea what the A meant until I found the others. Our old basement was filled with like all sorts of both junk and memorabilia of the past years. Dusty basketballs with no air, our old inflatable pool, sneakers I could still wear if I gave them a decent clean. I got lost in there for hours, looking through all kinds of stuff until I stumbled upon the box that looked just like the first one I found, except this one was hidden under a pile of old jackets. 1993 through 99 B tapes. At that point, I obviously had no idea what the difference between them was, and my parents weren't home, so I couldn't ask them. They'd gone on a cruise. I let myself in with the key I'd kept after moving out, so I brought both of them to my car. It took a week after I could pick up both boxes and a USB stick with all the videos from the shop. I watched the first few, the ones in which I wasn't even born yet, just to check if everything worked fine. Then I put the stick into an envelope with a card so our family could watch them together after Luke's birthday and after my parents got back. 2 days after the party, my brother called me. He didn't tell me what was going on, but commanded me to come over to his house as soon as possible. I'd never heard my brother sound more disturbed. What the actual fuck, Max? My brother looked even taller than he was. Anger seemed to make him grow. I was a good bit shorter than him, paler and weaker. My dark hair was curly and chaotic. So real.
Period, right? I'm like over here trying to fix my shit.
Yeah. His was always styled right and had the color of honey. The only similarity we had were our greenish brownish eyes. I watched that shit with, is that Ellie or Eli? I'm sorry.
Looks like 2 L's.
Yeah. So Ellie?
I think.
Yeah. I watched that shit with Ellie. You think that's appropriate for a 2-year-old? Can you at least let me inside before you start harassing me? I have no idea what you're talking about. He moved to the side. Their living room was a mess with toys, clothes, and crumbles everywhere. It'd been like that ever since they got Ellie. It made me like my niece even more, bringing a bit of chaos into my brother's sleek life. Are Ellie and Jacob not home? He shook his head. They went to Jacob's parents. He's pretty angry with you, he sighed. Max, be honest. Why did you make those videos? How did you even. Huh? I moved a stuffed elephant from the sofa and sat down. I brought our old VHS tapes to a place, and they. I told you when I gave it to you, I thought you'd like to see them. Luke frowned. You look like you have no idea what I'm talking about. He got his laptop and sat down next to me. He opened a folder with 2 video files labeled tapes A and tapes B. Did you watch them? A few of the first ones. The A ones? I nodded. Without saying anything else, he opened file B. A video started playing. The date at the bottom said November 1994 with the description park time. Oh shit. I don't know. I'm getting like, ooh, like sinister vibes. Like I like where this is going.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yes, I was thinking the same thing.
Mm-hmm. It started off with a dark screen. I thought at first, but as soon as it turned out, just night. Turned out it was just night. The quality wasn't great, but you could tell there were trees and you could hear the occasional howl of an owl. There is a similar video in the A ones. It's me. I just learned how to walk and we're in the park having a picnic during daytime. So, what is this? I asked. Wait. Suddenly, there was a light. Somebody had lit a torch and shoved it into the ground. You couldn't tell who the person was because they only showed the back, and it was still too dark. More torches followed, arranged in a circle. Holy shit, they on some ritual shit. When it was done, someone came with a child that looked a lot like Luke when he was little and placed the baby in the middle of the circle. Holy shit, where is this going? Where is this going? Okay. When it was done, someone came with the child. Oh, God, I already read that part. Sorry.
Okay.
Even with the light, it still looked strange and blurry. There were voices, but I couldn't make out what they were saying. What the fuck? I whispered. I was speechless and sick. Watching those hurt my insides, and I can't explain how or why. It felt as though it was too unnatural for us to comprehend, a sort of filter that lay over it, the sounds. I wanted it to stop, but at the same time, I was too curious. Luke looked at me with a concerned look on his face. I'm going to fast forward to one with you in it. June 1997, birthday. This one was during the daytime in our garden, but things looked slightly different again. Colors were much brighter, almost neon. 2 boys appeared in the frame, probably Luke and me. It must have been my 3rd birthday, so Luke was 5. We were dressed in purple, striped shirts and pants, but could only see our backs. We were running towards something that looked like a small bouncy castle, one that I don't even remember having. We disappeared inside of it, and the camera zoomed out further and further, and then all you could hear were loud screams, but they didn't sound like they were coming from children. When the 2 of us came outside again, the camera still zoomed out, but you could still see that we were laughing and jumping, and there was something red staining our clothes and hands. Blood? I ran to the bathroom and threw up my lunch. When I got back, Luke was waiting for me with a bottle of water. Happened to Ellie as well. Kept throwing up, but please. We can't do spooky shit around here.
She goes,
Did you see how fast I went by?
Oh
Okay,
my
anyways.
God.
Let's see. Okay. I didn't like the idea that my tiny little niece saw that, and I found it strange that she had such a strong reaction to it as well. How she understood that something was wrong, because technically nothing really bad happened in those tapes. They were just disturbing. Y'all, little kids, they fucking know what's up.
Yeah,
They
that's
know.
true. Yeah.
Dude, Luke, I swear I have no idea what that was. All I did was grab the boxes with tapes. Oh, it's
Goober crying on
okay. I
cue. Goober
know.
knows too.
Yeah.
Poor Goober.
Luke, I swear I have no idea what that was. All I did was grab the boxes with tapes. Do you remember that birthday? He asked. Are you joking? We went back to the living room. Luke had closed the laptop. I remember your third birthday. Some of your kindergarten friends were there. Mom baked a cake. There was no bouncy castle and whatever else the hell that was. My stomach was still turning. I've watched plenty of far more gory stuff in my life. I had no idea. I have no idea why this affected me so much. Mom and Dad come back tomorrow. We need to talk to them, I said in a determined tone. But Luke knew me well and probably heard the fear in my voice. I'd never been so scared of my parents before, as far as I could remember, but I also know that they had been slightly particular when we were growing up. My parents had always been kind of eccentric. Our house was always full of strange art, and they traveled all the time, even then. They never hurt us. If anything, they neglected us a little, but I didn't remember anything scary ever happening. I can go alone. Look, mom and dad are a bit weird. It's probably some very strange art project of theirs, but either way, I want to know what's up with that, Luke said. No, I'll come too. Maybe they'll be angry that we found them. Max, they kept them in the basement in an unlocked box. They wanted us to find them, or at least they didn't mind if we did. I wasn't exactly afraid of my parents, but of all the things, I couldn't remember. I stayed with Luke that night. Jacob and Ellie were still with Jacob's parents. The next day, we drove to our old childhood home. Luke and I had both stayed in our hometown after moving out. His house was a 20-minute drive from my parents. I lived a bit further away from both. When we reached the driveway, I saw my parents' car and I felt a cold shiver. I wasn't sure how we should do this, what we would say. As it turns out, I didn't have to. Mom opened the door before we even rang the bell. Max, Lukey, how sweet of you to stop by. She came closer to hug us, but Luke gently pushed her away. Where's Dad? The four of us need to talk. Before my mom could answer, he marched to the living room where my dad was reading a book. What the hell are the B tapes? My parents exchanged a glance. They didn't even try to act like they had no idea. Sit down, both of you, and calm down. It's nothing bad, my mom said. My dad sighed and he put his book away. Then he got up. If anything, they looked annoyed that we disturbed their day. Luke and I sat next to each other on the sofa, and my parents were standing in front of us. For a moment, it felt like we were little boys again, getting in trouble for breaking something. Neither of you got hurt. Neither of you ever got hurt. We made them for a possibility, one that you didn't even get, my father said. Can you please talk less cryptic? I
My
chimed
God.
in. It was the first thing I'd said. Those aren't real videos of your childhood, just remakes for your audition tapes. They were searching for child stars. Luke didn't make the cut, and then we tried with you, Max. But neither of you were chosen. My mother took over.
Right.
They? Who were they? And chosen for what movie? Luke asked. My parents exchanged another glance. Something like that. The filmmakers were looking for extraordinary children with specific instructions on how to show their personalities. The children that were chosen became part of this fantastic kids show, but neither of you were. Now, Luke and I exchanged a look. I had all those questions. Why would you do that to children that young? Why did you never tell us about it? And why did those tapes make us sick? But the atmosphere shifted after my parents explained it to us. Mom went to the kitchen and started cooking. Dad was blabbering about their trip. They acted like he had seen us totally that that what he had seen was totally normal. That was the scariest part. How normal they thought those tapes were when they could even make a 2-year-old sick. I felt like I didn't even know my own parents, and I felt strangely out of place. Meanwhile, Luke looked like he would explode any second. Finally, he shot me a look and walked outside. I followed, and we drove off without saying another word to my parents. At first, neither of us were speaking. I suppose we didn't know how to deal with the situation. After a while, Luke parked next to a McDonald's. I thought he was just getting us some food, but instead he turned to me with a serious look. There's something you don't know. When you were sleeping last night, I watched a few more of the tapes. I mean, they made me feel terrible, but I had to know if anything, really bad happened. I swallowed and Luke took a deep breath. Then he shook his head. There was nothing like that. The tapes are messed up, but in different ways, in ways that make you question reality. Okay? Now he was looking straight at me. You know how mom said neither of us made the cut to be cast? I nodded. Well, after 1996, there was a third child in the tapes. And the more I think about it, the more I'm starting to remember things. I know it sounds insane, but I'm wondering if we had another sibling that we forgot.
Oh my God, there's a part 2?
Yes! And we gotta read it next time. So
yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh,
dude,
that's so spooky. I got chills. And then I started feeling like I could hear footsteps behind me. Ooh.
That's like fucking movie material right there.
Yeah, I like that.
That was really good.
Dark and sinister.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. I like that was a good one.
That was a good one. I want to see what the comments are looking like.
Yeah, for sure.
Hell of an audition.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what happened to the third sibling.
Yeah, someone just said, sounds like your third sibling may have made the cut.
Oh. Yeah, and then you wonder, like, that's what's so great about Reddit. It just makes your mind wander and you're like, what the fuck happened?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to read. I mean, next week I don't know if we have anything really planned for next week. We could just read more next week.
I know, that'd be sick. Wait, before we go, because I know we're going to see y'all. Hey, do you still sell these?
I could. I haven't been actively doing it.
Crow has a Depop, everyone, and
oh my gosh,
Crow, you should tell them what it is. Is it still Crow Lotus or is it Planet Crow?
On Depop is Crow Lotus 666, I think. But these were on my Etsy for a while. But that was Planet Crow on Etsy. But what if maybe we could start selling those as part of like our merch?
Mm-hmm. This shirt is sick.
Thank you. It looks good on you. I love that shirt.
Yeah, dude.
I'd be totally down to like make it part of our merch.
Man, I want to get crafty. We have a sewing machine, the one that you gave us. And I want to learn how to use that thing.
For sure.
I'm trying to put it to work.
Well, it doesn't have to be perfect right away. Like, it doesn't have to be, like, professional ass shit. Like, as long as it's good enough that you feel good wearing it and that it looks solid from the outside, like, is a good place to start.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Man, Friday night. What's everyone doing?
I'm just, for the rest of the night, I'm just going to gear up.
Well, you're getting ready for a big fucking trip, dude.
No, I'm trying not to think about it. I'm just getting overwhelmed, but
it's so exciting.
I know. I'm excited. Like, it's gonna be an amazing experience. I'm just like, fuck. I guess I'm gonna feel this way until I get there, you know. But like I said, I'm mostly like worried about the flight. It's just a super, super long flight. But after I get through that, I'm gonna feel a lot better. I'm just gonna be sweating my ass off because it's like really hot over there. But
damn, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, super hot.
Well, but it's gonna make sure you take lots of pictures and you stand on business, okay?
For sure, always. Period. Yeah, I will. I'm gonna take a million pictures.
Yes. Oh my god. Well, this was so much fun. I feel like really relaxed. You know, it's nice. It's nice.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much, as usual, for tuning in.
Yes.
We'll figure out what we'll do next week. It's going to be crazy because it's my first week of traveling, but we're going to make it work. We're going to have something cooked up for you guys, and we will see you next week.
Yes.
Bye.